About before we start everything, let me introduce myself. My name is Anggito Abi from ISAFIS, and I'm here with my friends. Would you mind introducing yourself, Aliya?
Alright, hi everyone. My name is Aliya. I am from ISAFIS, but I am also participating in ISC from the table 5. And yeah, I think I'm passing the mic to GL. GL, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm JL, and I'm also from the Philippines. I am also participating at the ISC, and I am part of Table 1. So, how about Rascia?
Hi everyone, my name is Rascia Roldan. I'm from the Philippines like JL, and like him, I'm also participating in ISC 67. And yeah, hi Midori.
Hi everyone. I'm Midori. I'm also a member of ISC 67. I'm originally from Japan, but I'm now studying in England, UK. And I'm pass this mic to Soma.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Soma Nishimura, and I'm the committee member of ISC 67, and I work in media, and I live in Japan. And I'd like to pass the mic to Astrid.
All right. My name is Astrid. I am the director of media communications and design, and I will be the one assisting the speakers in this podcast.
All right, thank you so much. How's everyone feeling tonight? How's tonight or today for Midori?
Yeah, it's around like 2:30, 2:30 p.m. here in the UK, and the weather isn't that bad. And I had a meeting with my supervisor, and it's a little bit busy Monday, but I feel really good.
Okay, wow, it seems so busy. Okay, wow, it seems so busy. But are you feeling tired, maybe, or are you feeling kind of off the weather?
Actually, I'm not feeling that tired, but I sleep really good last night, and I'm feeling good and okay. Thank you.
All right, good to hear that. Actually, okay. So, once again, everyone, welcome to our first episode of our podcast together. So, we're happy to invite all of you guys to our first podcast because we're really happy to meet new friends, especially new friends from abroad and from other countries, especially when it comes to international world. So, really happy to invite you guys, and we as the ISAFIS really happy to invite you guys here. So, I previously have mentioned it before, like a little bit about during the pandemic situation, especially in my country, the pandemic management is actually kind of questionable in some mark and some others. So maybe it's going to be the first question, actually, to be the first topic of us. So, I'm kind of curious how are exactly the pandemic management going, especially in your guys' country. Maybe let's start from Midori. Actually, how about you, Midori?
Hi. So now, as I said, I'm living in England, UK, for my master course. And the UK, the COVID situation, it's UK experienced the worst time in last year, and especially around the last year Christmas time. And we also had a 3 national lockdown. But I would say that the situation has got so much better right now, even though the UK recorded over 30,000 new cases each day, and as well as 100 deaths within 28 days. But I think the situation is getting so much better than compared to the worst time. And we do not have any pandemic restriction. And British government has done a good job with COVID vaccine. But yeah, I'm a bit worried that it will be more cases because people go outside because it's summer holiday season, and people don't really wear any facial coverings. But I think it's getting so much better.
All right, I see. But so when I heard about it, so I guess it's all so in your country it's actually getting better every day, and actually you guys are proceeding to become actually independent from this pandemic situation, right?
Yeah, we have more freedom right now.
Oh wow, that's okay. Hearing about that actually makes me kind of sad because when I look back to my country, it's actually kind of chaotic at some point. So okay,
Mhm.
that's a relief to hear that from your country. Actually, good to hear that. Okay. Actually. Okay. Okay. Hearing from Midori is actually very. I'm very happy to hear that reliving news. But how about you, Russia? What is happening in your country?
Hi. Okay. So right now in the Philippines, um, today actually I just received the news today that the variant Lambda is in the Philippines already. I think we have one case already, which is kind of sad. It's currently a case of interest, so scientists are currently studying about it. We don't know how it's going to affect our progress in recovering from COVID-19. Not that it's that big, but yeah. So also from August 6th to August 20th, we've had a lockdown, so we're not allowed to go outside, and offices work on skeletal force. So it's really sad for small business owners because it kind of affects them in a way. Some are forced to close or shut down. And yeah, for the vaccine, I think we don't have that much high percentage of vaccine rollout. I mean, people who get vaccinated, we're still at 12%. So it's not that positive. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of relate though. It's the same in Indonesia as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But hearing from you, so when I analyze your saying actually before, so in your country in Philippines, it's actually kind of new regarding the COVID-19 situation there.
We actually dealt with this like even last year, but the way we dealt with it was not that good. We reacted kind of late when the pandemic started, so
Oh,
now we're
okay.
kind of dealing with the effects of it. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay, I see, I see. All right, okay, I get the point. Okay, so, but in your perspective, actually, does it impact you, especially as you are one of the young actors in this world? How does this pandemic impact you personally?
Well, first of all, it impacts me because I'm a third year student. Now I'm incoming fourth year.
Oh, yeah,
And
okay.
as a graduating student, not being able to do physical classes like face to face classes is kind of tough, really. With thesis coming up and stuff, you have to rely on online sources. And not everyone has great internet connection in the Philippines. We don't have that kind of luxury. So it's kind of hard for my part. Also, being stuck at home is kind of really tiring for the mental health of people. Like I
Mhm.
see my friends getting sad because they're locked at home, they can't go out. And in my case, it's only me and my mom. So like all the responsibilities are given to me because my mom works. So like I do the chores and then I also have to do study. So it is kind of taxing on me. Yeah.
All right, I see. Yeah, I can feel you actually. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your sorry. But okay, okay, I'm already here from the perspective from England, Philippines. Okay, maybe how about Tina? Oh yeah, GL. So
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. But that's my last name. You can call me
Oh,
JL. Yeah,
I see. Sorry for that. Sorry about that.
it's all right. But yeah, I'm also from the Philippines with Russia. So I think that Russia said it all. Now we are currently under lockdown. Well, it's really hard because since the pandemic started here in the Philippines, lockdowns have never been lifted, and just like the COVID-19 variants, the lockdowns here in our country also had like variants. It also mutated into different forms. Like we have so many kinds of lockdowns. Just because our government is not responding so well, so we're basically at home for almost for a year and 5 months already since the pandemic started here, and since we are locked down by the government for in March 17, 2020. So we have never experienced the easing of restrictions or whatsoever. So it's kind of tough. And I'm also a student. I'm a second year student. But despite the hardships of the pandemic, I've also found like the bright sides of the pandemic, since it's only today, just because we are like in under online mode of learning, since we cannot go to schools. I was able to I was able to have like a sideline for me to earn. So I'm currently doing writing commissions for my fellow students at my campus, and for other students from different parts of our country. I'm helping them through writing commissions, and I get to earn uh, some money from them, from that sideline.
So okay. So how about you? How about you, Soma? What is your perspective upon our question here?
So in case of Japan, it's quite an interesting case because like there's like the recent the Olympics, and they're doing the Paralympics right now, but basically it's been a disaster. I've heard like all of your conversations, and I've seen that like the word lockdown and that, but like in Japan there is no lockdown. It's basically emergency state where like they have like heavy they say like please be more like please be more careful, like precautions, and like they try to encourage it, but there's no like rule or like laws being passed. It's just like please be aware sort of stuff. So basically what's happened is like it's basically a precaution, so like people don't actually follow it. I've had times when I have to go to like much more like urban areas because I had to go to school in certain instances, and I see like people all the time, even though it's an emergency state. And so like, it's not really that effective in terms of like encouraging people to be, to stay at home. And because like they're holding the Olympics, like the public are like, they see the whole situation lightly. So like they're like, yeah, we can go out because like they're holding the Olympics, right? So they're not being that careful, and that's the reason why like there's like a lot of like there's like rising numbers like currently right now, and we're having like another like emergency state right now. But like as you can see, like after the Olympics, like the things have gone like much more worse. And another thing is Japan as a country, it's harder for like vaccines to be like tested and then also be like be verified as okay to be like open for the public. And because of the system, like has made like the whole process of like testing and then like providing vaccines more difficult, which affected like the overall like the overall number of like vaccinated people. So right now like Japan is like quite like late in terms of like compared to other countries, like the vaccination rate is quite low. So this is a problem. And for me personally, like looking at like how the government functions and how they're dealing with the pandemic, I feel a little bit frustrated. I mean, quite frustrated actually, because like the Olympics and everything, they are trying to use the Olympics to, I don't want to be too critical, but like to brush away the whole seriousness of the situation. And there's also like the Delta type virus, which is much more deadlier, and this has also been like gradually like the people who are affected by it is gradually growing within our country. So I think like as a country, like we should be much more serious of the situation. And yeah, from my personal life, yeah, like for me it's, I don't want to say this, but things have become much more easier because of the pandemic. Like because like I don't have to physically go somewhere, but at the same time like it's important to go outside and like also move your body. Like I've gained a lot of weight. I used to like play basketball or everything, but like because I can't like, or like I don't do it as often because like of like the stay at home kind of precautions. Like
All right, thank you so much for the perspective. Actually, that's your point is actually kind of relatable for me, especially to my perspectives. Okay, but I think I'm going to ask my fellow Indonesian here, my friend from Indonesia, Aliya.
Hi. Okay, so
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny of me asking this, but how about the management in your country? How about the pandemic management in your country? Maybe I
uh,
don't know about your country.
okay, that's a bit funny, but I think I'm going to speak uh, from my city perspective since we live in a different city. Uh, as I remember, yeah, you live in different province than mine. In Jakarta, city that I live right now. So I literally just saw a news that the restriction for the citizen is restricted again until the 23rd of August. I don't know why it's implemented in my province and Bali. If you guys know Bali, yeah. So my province is Java, and Bali is next to Java, and yeah, both of the province is restricted. And the management here, I think like I cannot say much because it will be too biased, but I believe that most of Indonesian people are not really satisfied with how the government uh, take care of the pandemic, since there's so many problems and scandals. Like there's um a person who corrupts the aid for the people. Like I cannot process how he can think about doing that, like in this pandemic. So yeah, there's so many flaws in our management. Like, but I heard that the vaccination rate in my city, Jakarta, is reaching 100%. But I cannot confirm because me myself hasn't vaccinated yet. I'm planning to, I think, next week or 2 weeks from now. But yeah, I don't think that almost 100% is valid. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that, especially my city here in Indonesia really close to Aliya. I'm from Bekasi and Aliya from Jakarta. It's like only being separated by only 20 kilometers. So we can really relate to them. So in Bekasi, actually, when we look at Bekasi, there is a point where Bekasi has the increase of pandemic situation in a day is almost reaching 1,000 case a day. So it's kind of depressing for me to look at the television and just watch people go to the hospital frequently, hearing the hearing the noise from the ambulance every time, every day, every hour in my city. So it's kind of stressing for me, especially when I remember that I'm still a scholar and I really need to go outside with my friends to go hang out to talk with my friends, but unfortunately I cannot do that right now. So that's saddening for me. But yeah, okay. But guys, we have the second question. Maybe Aliya, do you want to read the second question for us?
All right. Okay. So yeah, I've seen the news about the current development in my country and probably in Japan, or UK or Philippines. Um, is there any development that is currently going on in your country in this pandemic, like from the technology side or the business side? Because in Indonesia, there are so many startups that are growing so much that everyone, like literally my friends, really want to go to work at at the startups. So yeah, the startups is really emerging right now in Indonesia, and technology uh, the technology development is really increasing right now. Probably, how about in Philippines? Is there any development right now? Probably GL
Um,
want to answer it.
well, yeah, I think there is kind of a development because when the first lockdown was imposed last March of 2020, like every store is closed, and the only sectors or the only stores that are open are the groceries and the markets, and they are also like um their hours of operations are also shortened. But as the time progressed, and the government applied different kinds of restrictions in order for the other establishments to open. Many industries have also like restarted and bounced and were able to reopen their stores. But since because everything is dependent on the situation of the COVID-19 in our country, and also because of the restrictions that are imposed by the government, not every business from each sector are like able to bounce back and that are able to continue their operations. Well, just like for instance, we are like under the strictest lockdown right now. But in the previous month, we're like under the under the most lenient lockdown that we are in. So that means that in the previous month we are barber shops are open, gyms are open, non-essential stores are open, but right now everything except the markets and the food establishments are closed. So really, even though that there are vaccines that are arriving, not the stores are not necessarily like able to keep their stores open because of the government restrictions.
I see, I see. So there's no significant development right now in your country, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah, I thought that there is a development like in Indonesia because yeah, like I said before, like Indonesia, we have so many emerging startups right now, and probably Russia. Do you mind telling us your perspective or probably your experience in development in the middle of pandemic in Philippines?
For me, well, this is my perspective, but I think there were some developments in a way because we were able, at least on what I've noticed, some were able to adapt when we shifted from physical stores to online stores. In my community, we have this online marketplace where people from different households, like it can be my household, they develop like a small business. It can be cooking or milk teas or stuff like that, food and stuff, and they sell it online in a Facebook group, and then they can buy it. Other people can buy it within the community. And then there's also the development of community pantries. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it was a very big hit as well back then. And it's basically people who are able to afford necessities or essentials. They can donate to a certain stall, and then those who are in need of essentials, they can get from that stall for free. They don't have to pay anything. So those who are capable of buying stuff, they're free to give, and those who are not capable of buying stuff, they're free to pay, to get rather. And it has been implemented in several communities all around the Philippines, and I'm not sure if it also reached one country abroad. I'm not sure. I will have to look on that. But yeah, I think that's the development part. That's how the Philippines developed rather when it comes to like businesses. That's my take on it.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting and really helpful initiative from the people of Philippines. Yeah, I hope it can be developed to other countries as well. And probably Midori, do you mind share how's the development in UK in this middle of pandemic? Like you said before that in UK there's no longer restrictions for the people, but other than that, is there any significant development that you can share it to us?
Sure. I think, as everyone said, online shopping becomes so much popular also in the UK. Besides that, I think it might be a little bit out of topic, but the way people think has been changed. And because like more and more people are trying to do something related to charity or volunteer. And it's not really about the business, but we also have more kind of social support towards vulnerable people like migrants or homeless people. And actually, there are lots of like shelters, social shelters, or like free hotel, which is totally free for homeless people, or like food bank. So I think we have some business has been developed recently, but at the same time, like people trying to be so nice and like trying to help each other. So I think we in the UK we have more and more like charity and volunteering development going on.
I see. So it's more social development in the UK, right?
Yeah. I think in the UK, like even before COVID, like pandemic, people have been so familiar with the idea of charity. Like people always like donate the clothes or food and or sometimes like furniture as well. But like after the pandemic got spread around the nation, and we have like some people like friends or family, some like with loved ones, like some like lost a job or like have some like mental issues, and like people getting so much interested in the idea of charity or helping each other. So I think like it's pretty nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great initiative from the Philippines and the UK. Yeah, I think it's really helpful for the others that this pandemic has really got us really hard, and yeah, that initiative really helps them. And probably in Japan, how about in Japan? Do you have such initiative like that? Or is there any other development in Japan that you can share to us? Like probably in business side or technology side?
Yeah, it's quite broad, to be honest. Like there's like in IT, like there's like like Internet of Things technology, artificial intelligence technology, and communicating online has grown in recent years because like things have to be online, right? So like many companies are trying to do better ways to like create much more better services within this pandemic. And within healthcare, if I'm going to focus only on healthcare, because as I mentioned before, like Japan has an issue of like developing new medicine, and so they're trying to like create a better network of information, like analytics, so that like pharmaceutical companies can develop medicines based on insights from other companies. So it's basically like a large community. They're trying to make a large community so that of sharing information, so that each company has the right information to be able to create medicine based on the information shared by other companies. And also there's also the technology of using artificial intelligence, and they're using it to like do like analyze like the papers so that like they can cut the bother of hiring people that are like to like do like all those like sophisticated tasks, like using AI, like they are able to do with this more smoothly so that they can quicken the whole process of developing new medicine. And this has been like, or I mean, I don't know if there is like effect right now, but there's going to be an effect in the future so that Japan can ultimately create their own vaccines and increase the vaccination numbers.
Oh wow, that's amazing though to keep developing in this pandemic. Like yeah, aside from the pandemic, the technology development in Japan and Indonesia are still growing. That's kind of amazing. But yeah, I hope that we can see the output soon in sake for the pandemic.
So yeah, okay. We're still having two questions, guys. But this next question is actually very interesting for me, especially when it comes to our role. And that is, how can students contribute to the COVID-19 management? So yeah, that's actually very interesting, especially when it comes to us as the future leader for this world. So let me start from my perspective, actually. how can a student contribute? Actually, in my point of view, we can contribute by actually try to provide the ministries our ideas in the form of like academic writings, critical writings, or critical academics, so that the ministry can also hear from us and actually can respond to our concerns and our ideas. So that's my first point. And the next point that I'm trying to adjust as the youth is actually that we can actually do some critical research sometimes, especially when it comes to us having lots of time in front of our own home, our own computer. So that means we can have the flexibility to really do something that we wanted to do, and without even concerning that the teachers will get mad at us. So yeah, that's my 2 point. But I kind of curious about how about your perspective, Midori? What do you think?
About the student life, right?
Yeah, student and the youth itself.
Yeah, I think so. Like UK, actually, like most of the school and like universities provide us a hybrid system right now, which means like we have both face-to-face session at campus and online lectures from home. And I think the idea of hybrid system pretty works right now. And I also like the way they deliver the online lectures. I think if they only deliver online lecture, like I am not that sufficient with the way they deliver, but like because like we still have chance to meet our like classmate and coursemate professors, so it works. And also sometimes like we student, like to be honest, like we have sometimes like have not really good, like we sometimes really want to take lectures from bed, right? While sleeping. And like I think in terms of that, like I think the hybrid system really works. And yeah, but the problem is so many students like it's been so controversial in the UK. I don't think it's not only UK, but about the tuition fee, because we are like taking the lectures from home. So like I think for students, like we want the tuition fee should be decreased, but at the same time there are so many professors and university staff are working so hard to make the hybrid system work. So there are kind of pros and cons about the tuition fee. But yeah, like I think like there should be more like clear direction towards the like after COVID. Things like I don't think the world must be changed after COVID, and we should have some like big discussion about like how the education system should be and how the tuition fee should be, and like it should be fair to everyone.
Yeah, I do agree about your point actually, especially when it comes to the tuition fee. Like it's kind of unfair actually, especially for students who has the kind of fee that is unlogical. Like for instance, my friend having the tuition fee for in rupiah or in the Indonesian currency, it's about 6 million rupiah, and it doesn't even decreasing, especially when it comes to the increase of COVID-19 pandemic. But the fee doesn't even get affected with it. So like we feel like it is unfair for us, especially when we consider that we don't really even do something real other than like sitting in front of our computer or on our own handphone and do the things that the teacher ordered us. So that's one retrospective that we have to think about. So thank you so much for bringing that. Actually, thank you so much, Midori, for bringing that.
No
But
worries.
how about you, GL? What do you think about this?
Well, yeah, I actually agree with the both of you, with both Midori and you. But when it comes to the student contribution on the COVID-19 management, I actually have the same insights with you. I think as students we're going to be able to contribute by studying hard, but under this despite being under this type of situation. Of course, especially the students on the medical field, because they are the ones who are needed right now. If they are able to learn things, learn things despite under the situation, they will be able to contribute and to serve to serve their countries well in the future, to combat this pandemic, or even to work in a post pandemic world. But yeah, hopefully post pandemic world. But yeah, other than that, I think that since we are only students and we are only citizens, and we are not really like in charge of the COVID-19 managements in our country, I think we as citizens of the country, of our respective countries, we need to put pressure on our governments um to act swiftly on such cases such as this health emergency. I think that because by voicing ourselves out to the public, we are going to be able to be heard by our governments, in order for them to in order for them to know what to do. Because not every government in the world are like the New Zealand's government, in which they were able to to eliminate the COVID-19 pandemic in their country in just 6 weeks, if I am not mistaken. So um so I think that by putting pressure into our governments, by having rallies, even on online rallies, just to show our dissent about the present situation, the present governance that we are in. I think that's one thing that we can do to be able to show them that they're wrong, and things need to be changed. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. I do agree about talking about the things related to governments, because not all governments is being responsive to the people. I know it's kind of critical to discuss about that, but I do agree with that in some point or another. So thank you so much for bringing that interesting question about governmental action in these terms. So I do agree with your point, but I do really want to hear more from the retrospective from points of Japan. So Soma, how about you, Soma? What do you think?
Yeah, so in Japan, like, there's like one of the largest issues, I believe, is like the awareness of the seriousness of the issue. And I think like one of the issues is like the media industry in general. Because like in Japan, like there is this system of like larger companies, larger media companies, like, or broadcasting companies having a lot of like um having a lot of connection with the government. They sometimes are quite biased in information. So I think these kind of student organizations or third party influencing industries within the media can be super effective in like growing awareness to the whole COVID pandemic situation. And I believe like these kind of like situations like we're having right now is like what is contributing a lot to. And like this is like a borderless like conversation, like it's transcending like borders and everything. So like we're able to like show like the situation around the world. So I mean, I think this depends on how much people will tune into this. But like these kind of insights and like these ideas that we share are very effective in like people understanding the whole situation within Japan and within not only Japan but within countries. I mean, like I don't know like the whole like how the awareness is right now in other countries, but like particularly in Japan, there's like the awareness issue. So yeah, these media activities are very effective. And these are the things that students can do.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Okay, actually, your statement makes me remember this one point from that is actually being proposed by Japan in front of the UN bodies. That's called the digital diplomacy. So, in that terms, digital diplomacy is actually introducing the public about diplomatic action, but in the use of e-commerce maybe, or like television or videos, online videos, and that actually teaches scholars or like young youth to actually understand diplomacy and politics in one way or another, but actually in the correct circumstances. So. Thank you so much for reminding me about that. Actually, especially when it comes to like Japan's progression in technology is actually very advanced and vast, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe like, I mean, there is like a lot of issues within the IT industry as well, actually, in Japan. Like, I mean, as a person who lives in Japan, like, I feel like, Japan's IT industry has a lot of flaws, actually. But yeah,
Oh.
actually, like, for example, like, there's these companies called like system integrators that they get offers from other companies to like create their system, and like these companies allow like the progression of like IT development. But like in Japan, like it's basically like outsourcing has become like quite common. So like each company is not different from the other, and like they don't do a lot of like domestic, domestic development of like information technology. So I think like in like 50 years, I think Japan will be lagged behind in terms of IT. Like, I think other countries will start to have much more advanced IT. But yeah, I think like that's what's worries me right now, like, as a person who's also like job hunting in the IT industry. Yeah, actually.
Mm, okay, so Japan actually does have some particular flaws that they really have to consider about, but especially when it
Mhm.
comes to like those flaws can actually be tackled if Japan really able to coordinate with other countries, or especially doing like the international diplomatic action that can enhance
Mm.
all countries' establishment in one way or another, but in an equal opportunities and manners, right? Okay, let's see. How about your retro perspectives? I call I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but I'm calling Rascia.
Yeah, it's Russia.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. So my personal opinion on the question, like students' contribution on pandemic management, I do agree with what JL, with what you said, and Midori said that the greatest, I think, contribution of students would be to study hard, do critical research that they can contribute in the future. And but I also believe that we can go beyond that four walls of the classroom. I've known my friends, like fellow students, they were able to organize again community pantries. I'm saying this a lot, but it does not directly impact like COVID management, but it does help people like those who were greatly affected by the lockdowns and stuff. Like they were able to provide the basic necessities, and I think that's a great contribution as well. And apart from that, I believe that since online protests are like a thing now, because we can't really go out, if we make enough noise online, maybe we are able to like um, say influence other people, and then eventually lobby some suggestions for the government so that the actions they can take in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic problem would not just be resorting to lockdowns, but to other alternatives as well. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, talking about Indonesia, maybe I'm kind of curious about inviting my friends here, Aliya, with your perspective. How about you, Aliya?
About how student can contribute to the management, right? Mm.
Yeah, about
Okay,
that.
so that's interesting though, because in Indonesia there's a lot of students that advocating and campaigning about the COVID and the importance of vaccination, because turns out in Indonesia there's so many people who are anti-vax. Yeah, anti-vaccination, like people who don't want to get vaccinated. Like I don't understand. Like there's so many scientific journals and writings and things that prove that vaccination can really protect you. Like even though you caught COVID, you cannot really die from it because you are vaccinated. Like and yeah, the students in Indonesia are trying to convince this anti-vax and people who don't really believe in COVID, that this thing is really exists. So yeah, the students in Indonesia really contribute by educating the others and then advocating things. Yeah, so social media, online protest and advocacy is important. Yeah, same as Russia and the others as well. But yeah, I think it's interesting because since we are come from various countries uh, and Midori is a Japanese student who are currently studying in UK. I want to ask, and we are currently entering the last question. So the last question is there any is the pandemic increasing tension between countries, like the sentiments toward people from other countries from economic to race perspective? Probably Midori can share, since you are a foreigner in a foreign country. How is your experience as a Japanese person, a Japanese student in UK, because UK is mostly are filled by British people.
Yeah, British people are pretty like majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think in terms of the country itself, we things like if I can talk about more about like political stuff, things like UK just left the EU before the COVID starts. So like UK is kind of approaching to the Asian country, like especially Japan. So like country itself not really see against like Japan, but some people like see like they saw like the COVID or like pandemic itself has its origin from China. So like as some news talking about the US, like we saw some news about kind of racial segregation towards Asian people. It unfortunately it also happens in the UK, but I think it's not that common. And also like people, as I said about the charity and volunteering stuff, people try to be so nice to each other. So like only like some small cases, like they're talking about like the segregation or like the racist stuff going on. But like most of the people trying to be nice towards each other, including like Asian, like Muslim people, like migrants. And like also what I always think about like from living the UK, like things like Asian people, most of the Asian students, things like we study here because like we, of course we have money to study here, but at the same time, like some people, local people, there are some local people struggling to make ends live, make ends meet. So like they are not only about like nationality or like people's like where they from, like there may be like some people are struggling with live because of their like physical disability stuff, or like maybe religion, or maybe about their like gender. So like I always think like it's like we all need to be like try to be nice and kind to each other. And I think the UK, most of the people has that kind of idea. And yeah, like I really hope like not only like most of the people, but also the other like small number of like people that they unfortunately has kind of racist idea. But like I really hope like everyone at the end has that kind of idea, nice idea of like helping each other at the end.
Yeah, I think sadly this we are reaching to our ends, our end of our podcast. So I really want to say thank you to everyone here that already make your time to make this podcast happening. Like I'm giving the biggest credit to Soma. Like Soma, this is our work since like months ago.
I guess, but like, yeah, it's like without all your help and everything, like, yeah, ISAFIS has like organized a lot, and like, yeah, definitely, like they've set up everything. I wasn't aware of how podcasting works and everything, and yeah, you guys helped me throughout this journey. Yeah, actually, hopefully, I want to do this again, but yeah.
Yeah, we're reaching to our ends in ISC as well. So yeah, I'm really happy to cooperating and work with ISC, and I want to say thanks to Rascia, Midori, GL, and Anggito for joining us tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.
And also,
Oh yeah.
and also, we're looking forward to hearing from you guys later from this conference or this meeting. And also, we're hoping that we can all be friends, even though this meeting has been over already. So, we're expecting to meet you guys sooner or later in the future, and we're hoping to meet you guys again in another event of us. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Have a nice rest, everyone. Thank you.
And thank you so much who has listened to our podcast until the end.
Yay! Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.